Okay, so we have our agenda for today. It's we're going to finish this document that I sent you, that we started discussing on Monday. No, on well, the name is task templates, no, but it includes also task templates and blueprints, and then administrative procedures, etc. No? Combining assessment tasks, no? Which is also that's when we include the meaning, the concept of blueprints. Great. And so after this lesson, what would be missing to finish this book is chapter 12. No? So I'll take photos and I'll send the photos to Abby, so she can create the last PDF, and that would be your homework, for Monday, to read chapter 12, which is about scoring, scoring methods. Scoring methods is also a very short chapter. Scoring students' test performance and reporting the results is actually the name. It's only 6-8 pages. It's the last chapter of the book. Great. So today we have to finish this document. I remember asking you to read about administrative procedures, because all the last section is about administrative procedures, and we actually before that we hadn't read or discussed administrative procedures, although when we all along our presentation of the different topics, we always mention some administrative procedures, which you understand should be equal, to all groups where you are given the assessment. Well, it's obvious to think that if you're doing a test for your group A, you want to make sure that, and also you have a group B and C from the same parallelo. It's obvious to think that you want to make sure that everybody has the same opportunities, that everybody is treated equally fair, that everybody has the same chance, and that the exam is administered under the same conditions and circumstances. So that's what we are going to see today, today. Right, and so I'm going to ask Abby to please share this PDF of chapter 11. This PDF, chapter 11, and as the document, before the document gets on the screen, I'd like to ask you guys what you understand by administrative procedures. Yeah, maybe you read the article, in which case you know more in detail, or because most of you are already working, so you are already engaged in all the processes and all the administrative procedures. So you can tell us what they are, please. Anybody, please?
Professor?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, I understand the administrative procedures and instructions as, for example, clear orders in the to clarify the students what are the instructions and how they have to develop the test, how to how to solve the problems in the test. but with
Yeah.
clear instructions.
Yes. Okay. Great. 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 Yeah. That's definitely one of the aspects, no, and one of the considerations we have to make when discussing administrative procedures. No. Great. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Anybody else, please, who would like to tell us their view on this question, on this topic?
Prof,
Yes.
I would like to ask, because I have just an idea, so I am a little confused between what is the what is the main difference between the administrative procedures and instructions, because I understand that are two different aspects,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Two different things. Yes.
Uh-huh. So
Yes.
I would like to know what is the main difference between these these aspects or
These two
these.
terms, no?
Uh-huh.
These two terms. Yeah. Okay. Well, administrative procedures are those things surrounding the test. No? Those aspects that are going to guarantee that the test or the assessment is going to be administered in the right way. No, for example, time and place. No, the physical conditions of the classroom, the physical conditions for the testing. That you make sure that you have all the materials that need to be available for that day for the quiz, for the assessment. And also sometimes if you are going to need some personnel, some staff that is going to help you in the administration of the exam, you need to make sure that those things are available, available. But for example, those are part, for example, of the setting. The setting is only one aspect of the administrative procedures. But if you analyze these examples and this explanation, there is no instruction here. No? So what we mean by instructions in plural, instructions, is, for example, on the day of the exam, on the day of the, and also before the day of the assessment, it's important that the students understand what it is that they are going to be asked to do. No, of course, you can never give them the questions in advance or tell them the topics for writing or anything. No? But the students need to know what it is that they are expected to do. No, of course, on the day of the exam and on the paper, they are going to have a more detailed description of I mean, in the instructions. No? They're going to get a more detailed description of what they have to do. And so procedures, administrative procedures are those things that have to deal with the test setting. Or for example, on the day of the exam, that you provide an atmosphere that is appropriate for the testing. Okay, and well, podríamos decir that anticipating or communicating something about the instructions is also part of the procedures, of the administrative procedures. Yeah. So administrative procedure is like the major category, major category, and one aspect or one aspect of this big category is also the instructions. No, so está supeditada o está incluida, no, we could say in Spanish, in the administrative procedures. No. So it's one component, one small component. Instructions are a small component of the administrative procedures, because administrative procedures is everything. The setting, providing an appropriate environment, giving the students confidence, procurar that the students will have positive washback, because remember that an assessment should be an opportunity for students to reassure what they are doing, that if you know that your students have done what you've asked them to do in class, you know that they are going to respond positively. An assessment should not be an opportunity for, to trick your students into believing that they don't know something that they know. So instructions have to be clear. You have to promote that they feel safe and confident, right? Give them all the assets, so that they perform at their best. This idea that I remember when I was in school, in high school, when I had my math teacher, this idea that when we have class, everybody was suffering. People started having headaches. Some people vomited. Some people didn't go to class. And the teacher gave this confusing instructions, and then he refused to talk, to answer questions. So all with the teacher's purpose to fail the students, En el pasado era así, You had to be a super relaxed student, to not fail sometimes something, and especially English, mathematics, and other subjects. Right. So yeah, well, that's what I can say. Maybe I'm doing like an overview, a complete overview of the topic. But I repeat, administrative procedures are the big topic, and instructions is one important aspect of the administrative procedures. Great, yeah. So I would like you to look at this section here, the second paragraph, and well, yeah, right. And I don't know, well, if we have any tools available in this PDF, but I would like to remark that in this chapter 11, 4 things are going to be studied, or analyzed. One is the role, the role of administrative procedures. The role of administrative procedures and instructions to guarantee quality, to guarantee the quality of the assessment. In this chapter, as you can read in the next line, the first discussion is why is it important to specify the procedures for administering assessment. So in other words, students have to know what the procedures are. Then activities. There are some things that you can do when administering classroom-based assessments. There are things that you have to prepare. And finally, as you can read here, it says finally, instructions, the importance, the role of instructions, and how you can write clear instructions. Great. So this leads us to the first question. I guess if you only think about it for a moment, you can easily answer this question from your view of a teacher, as a teacher, I mean. So why do we need to specify administrative procedures? I ask you guys.
maybe to don't create a lot of confusion,
And yes, yes,
in the students,
of course, yes.
because if you didn't specify what will be the administrative procedures, it could be a kind of headache for the students,
Exactly.
because they just can speculate
Uh-huh.
about what they are going to do in the test.
Exactly, no? And that is going to create stress, no? And stress before a test could lead to results that are not really consistent. Remember that one of the claims in the previous lessons, okay, is that you want to have interpretations now that are consistent. No? You want to have records that are consistent, and so you want to eliminate this speculation from students. You want to eliminate the bias. Bias is the este sesgo, no? I think I understand the word bias as some kind of sesgo. Yeah, so you want to have assessments that are totally unbiased, no? Unbiased. And that the records are consistent, no? With what you know your students really do, no? Okay, okay, so yes, so what you said is just right. Yeah, so maybe to clarify this, no, if we can scroll down a little bit, we have some information. This paragraph is maybe the summary, no, and the explanation why we need to specify administrative procedures. So, and I'm going to ask Abby to please read this section for us, please.
Okay. Why do we need to specify administrative procedures? When you develop an assessment to use
But
in
Abby, dear Abby, I only want you to read this second paragraph,
the second,
please.
that,
Just a second. Yes,
okay.
the second. Yeah, because that's the conclusion. Yes,
Okay,
please.
okay. Thus, in order to help assure that your interpretations about your students' language ability are unbiased,
Unbiased. Biased.
unbiased, and that their assessment records are consistent, you need to specify the procedures you will use to administer the assessment. For low stakes assessments covering small amounts of instructional material, the administrative procedures can be relatively simple,
Relatively simple.
while for high stakes assessment, which may cover larger amounts of instructional material and consistent of several different parts, they will be more extensive. However, irrespective of the importance of the decisions to be made or the amount of material covered in the assessment, you need to specify in advance how you will administer the assessment.
Exactly. No? So thank you very much, Abby. So in either case, no, so en el escenario uno, no, in the first scenario where students have only the typical quiz, no, that que toma 30 minutes, yeah, a low stakes assessment, no, okay. Even in that case, no, you have to tell the students, no. For example, 1 week before the assessment, you say, okay, for example, next week on Tuesday at this time, we're going to do this quiz. This quiz is going to be about this and this. No? You need to be able to answer this type of questions, for example, multiple choice, blah, blah, blah. Explain as much as possible so that the students are not confused or surprised or shocked on the day of the exam. Or also when you have a major exam, no? For example, the final exam, the graduation exam, when students, for example, have to have this huge exam with several components, no, and for 2-3 hours with a los que se les llama high stakes assessments, no, high stakes assessments. And so even in either case, in the low stakes and in the higher stakes, you have to make sure that the students get all the information. No? Great. So I guess this paragraph explains, you know, what our previous volunteer said. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, and also what is in the first paragraph, no? Because if you look at the previous paragraph, it talks about you know, that you have to be, that the results have to be consistent, that you have to eliminate possible sources of inconsistency. Okay, and examples of inconsistency, for example, could happen when you decide to give one group the test, for example, tomorrow, but then you give the other group more time. No? That is going to create inconsistency, because if you decide to give a test, it has to be on the same day. No? Because you cannot give more time to another group. No. Well, if you have one exam in the morning, well, obviously, and then you have a group in the afternoon. But maybe there might be some small issues. Not maybe that you have to solve. No, because students in the morning can say no, but I mean, students in the afternoon, no, they may want to know what the questions were. No, they are going to ask the students in the morning group, right? Maybe you have a class in the morning when it's the weather is nice, but then the other group has classes at night and it's raining and traffic is impossible, etc. And so remember that we talked one chapter, you know, one entire chapter on things that you can do to reduce sources of inconsistency. So here the idea is the same, no? That you, because one of the elements in the procedure, administrative procedures, is to provide an encouraging testing environment, no? For all the groups, not only for the group in the morning or for your favorite group because they are only a small class and they are really nice. It has to be equally fair to all your groups. Great. And so now, can we, for a moment, maybe you can scroll up this or go to the next page, in other words, yeah. Go to the next page. That one, right in. Yeah, here on the left. Yeah. So what you see here, these three items in numbered 1, 2, 3 are the administrative procedures. No, administrative procedures, and that is the first question. The first question that we have in the document. No. So Abby, I'm going to ask you to please share the document. Okay, say Unit 2, T4 assessment task templates. No?
Okay.
Can you share this document with us too? Yeah, because the question here, is what are the 3 administrative procedures? Huh? What are the 3 administrative procedures? Yeah, so if we scroll down and go to page 5, no? Can we go to page 5? Or the end of page 4, I think it is. Yeah, over here. No, go back one page. Yeah, we have 3 steps here, no? Administrative procedures and instructions. Yeah, and so here's a question. Can you scroll up a little bit? Or down? No, no, down. Can you scroll down? Exactly, right here, no? So ahí están los 3, no? Administrative procedures, activities and administrative procedures. So what are these 3 administrative procedures? As you have in the document, chapter 11, the first is preparing the test setting. No? Preparing the test setting. So maybe, Abby, you can type there, preparing the test setting. What is number 2? So here in number 1, you can type preparing a test setting. And number 2 is can anybody help us with this? It's the information you have in the PDF. Anybody, please? Number 2 is providing, encouraging testing environments. No? Providing, encouraging testing environments. So in other words, make it as nice as possible for a student. No? Well, of course, nobody likes tests. No? Yeah, but at least you want your students to feel that they are safe, no, and engaged, no, or encouraged. No? For example, if you're doing an oral presentation, no, and the presentation is an assessment, yeah, well, you want to make sure that students received all the motivation. The day of the presentation, everything is clean, is neat. The computer works perfectly. They have a nice audience. You begin on time. You give them enough time. You make sure that everybody is quiet. That nobody is opening the door. Okay, and interrupting the presentation. You want to make sure that the microphone, si es que hay un micrófono, you want to make sure that the microphone is perfect. You need to have, if possible, give the students some time to get together in the group and practice, etc. ¿no? Ayudarles en lo que más se pueda, ¿no? So that they have an encouraging testing environment. No, that's the word. Right, and number 3 is communicating the instructions. No? Communicating the instructions. Yeah. Well, now if we continue with this document, no, we don't have much information here. All the information is in the it's in the book, no, and in the PDF. Yeah, for example, here it says after analyzing the 3 useful activities, you need to specify the administrative procedures, analyze, what you have to do in each section, and write the main points in the following chart. Well, so you have to do a little summary. No? We don't have the chart here, but later you can use this PDF, this Word document, and you can write a little summary of number 1, number 2, number 3. Right, then it says concerning the instructions, they need to be clear and they have to be given in advance. according to the authors, instruction should provide information like the purpose for which the test results will be used. You know? It's something that students need to know. The areas of language ability that will be tested, a description of the procedures and tasks, and a description of the way students' responses will be scored. You know? So if you have a scoring, if you have already a scoring method, if you have a rating scale, you tell them, no, that they are going to be scored based on the rating scale, and explain what the rating scale is and what how many points they're going to get for such and such types of answers. Understandable instructions allow students to better perform on the test. No? In order to make clear instructions, it's important to pay attention to the language and form. That's regarding the instructions. No? They have to be very clear. Besides, the length of the instruction is another important issue to take into consideration. In this regard, the authors suggest that we don't need instructions that are too long or complex. No? We need effective and efficient instruction. No? If possible, I could add here, you could give an example. No? Maybe instead of writing a 3-line instruction or 4-line instruction, que es demasiado, maybe you can write a short description and include an example. No? Yeah, with this brief information in mind, now study the rest of the topic in the book, reflect on the instructions that you have given your students when applying any type of assessment. That's from your experience. No? And blah, blah, blah. And then you have the self-assessment for it. Yeah. So before the self-assessment, no, which you're gonna do in the break, no? Okay. So as soon as we finish this session, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes, yeah, to do the self-assessment. And so then we begin the next session at 7, no? At 7. Okay. So now let's go back to the PDF, no, the chapter 11.
Okay, now it is.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So let's go back. Yeah. So here we have a right where the cursor is now. No, el cursor. Those are the 3 administrative procedures. No, preparing, providing, communicating instructions. Yeah. Now, so what can we say about preparing the test setting? No, remember what the setting is. No, is the materials and the people that are involved in the assessment. Yeah. You can, as a reference, you can go back to the book. I don't remember what chapter it was, but you can read task characteristics, no? Hay mucha semejanza, no? Yeah, and so if we can scroll up over here where the cursor is, for example, chapters 8, 9, here. No, 99, pages 99, 101. The setting, yeah. So we know that the setting will include this, no? Number 1, the time, no? Time, place, and physical conditions for testing. Right. Number 2, no? The materials, no? Materials that are required and the equipment that is required, they have to be available. You have to make sure that it's available, no? On time, no? Time. For example, no sé, se me ocurre, if you're working in a physical classroom, the computer, no? Make sure that the speakers, no? That the microphone are available, that they work, that you have good internet connection, etc. Mm-hmm. Make sure that the required staff or personnel for administering the assessment are available. No? That is, for example, if you have if you're going to have an assistant for the oral exam, if you're going to administer the exam in the presence of other teachers, you know, if you need the secretary to be there to take notes or something or whatever. No? Yeah, that's the setting. Great, yeah. So I'd like to have somebody please to read this section here when the assessment is to be administered.
Prof, we have less than a minute. I don't know if.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, well, so then when we have these 15 minutes or 20, let's call it 20 minutes. Yeah. You are going to finish reading this page, no? Right?
And the self-assessment.
This part, no, from the assessment, blah, 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 and then the chart, right? And then do the quiz, no? Do the quiz. If you have extra time, of course, you can read page 143 and 44 where we have the next aspects to analyze in regard with the procedures, no? With administrative procedures. Okay, so I'll see you at 6, no? At 6. Please, everybody work individually, please.